Welcome to your course, Stronger Than Before. This framework will provide you with a structured path for rebuilding identity after disruption. When I had my stroke, I didn't just lose my voice, I lost my identity. For decades, I had built a life around performance. I had the title, I had responsibility, I had growth. I was the COO. I led teams. I sat at board tables. I made decisions that impacted millions of dollars. And underneath all of that, I quietly carried imposter syndrome, like many of us do. But when I had my stroke, some other events happened. My mother died. I lost my job. My confidence became very low. And not only did I lose everything I accomplished, I had no voice, no way to communicate. So my imposter syndrome became an identity crisis. The identity I worked so hard to maintain disappeared overnight. What happened when the life that you built no longer fits with who you are becoming? Success feels like a trap. When you achieved everything others dream about, yet wake up every morning feeling like a fraud, waiting to be exposed. The corner office, the impressive title, the respect from colleagues, the financial security you worked decades to build, all of it sits on your shoulders like a weight instead of a victory. You climbed every ladder, you checked every box, you exceeded every expectation, and somehow arrived at a place where you question whether you deserve any of it. The disconnect between external achievement and internal experiences creates a particular kind of suffering that's really hard to name and even harder to discuss. When you mention feeling lost or uncertain, people look at you with confusion. After all, you have the life that they want. You've mastered the skills they admire. You've built a career they envy. How could someone so accomplished feel so unsecure? The gap between how others see you and how you see yourself grows wider every day, creating an isolation that success was supposed to eliminate. So, why does this happen to high achievers? Why do high achievers focus on imposter syndrome? Well, high achievers face a crisis that remains largely invisible because it contradicts everything we believe about success and confidence. The assumption is simple: achieve more, feel better, work harder, gain certainty, climb higher, and find peace. But for millions of professionals, this equation has failed spectacularly. They achieve more, work harder, climb higher, and they discover that the external validation cannot fill the internal voids or answer fundamental questions about identity and worth. The problem isn't that you haven't achieved enough. The problem is that you're building your sense of self on shifting ground. When identity becomes entangled with performance, with titles and external approval, it creates a foundation that can't support the weight of a full life. Every promotion brings new pressures to prove you belong. Every success raises the stakes for the next performance. Every compliment feels temporary. And every criticism feels like evidence that you've been found out. The cycle doesn't end with more achievement, it intensifies with it. What I noticed through my own transformation is that I went into survival mode. This is a mindset that your brain wants certainty. It wants the old version of you back. It wants to perform normal. But rebuilding identity isn't about performing strength. It's about structured reconstruction. And that is why I created the Stronger framework. And it's built on one simple truth: reinvention isn't accidental, it's architectural. You need to reframe your brain from the old version to the new one. The first three letters, S, T, and R, represents the structural environment because healing and rebuilding cannot happen in unsafe spaces, unsafe systems, whether that's your workplace culture, your family dynamics, leadership expectations, or in the environment you're allowing yourself to be around. If that structure is unstable, the identity cannot stabilize. The next three letters, O and G, represents ownership. That means your awareness, your narrative, your growth responsibility. No one can do your internal work for you. And when you have STR and ONG and they work together, the outcome is that's expansion and resilience. A new version of you that is not harder, but wiser. Stronger is not about going back to who you are, who you were. It's about building someone more aligned with with whatever you've been through. This framework guided me when I could barely speak, when my confidence was gone, when my role was gone, when my future felt uncertain. It's the reason I stand here today, not as the woman I was, but someone stronger than before. And if you're in a season where the old version of you no longer fits, you're not broken. You're in transition, and I'm here to help.